I have devoted the greater part of my life to studying the invisible forces that determine whether a man rises above his circumstances or remains bound by them. Of all the principles I have uncovered, none is more powerful, more transformative, or more misunderstood than belief. It is the starting point of all achievement, the seed from which every success must grow. In my early years, I was like many others. I believed that success was largely a matter of luck, opportunity, or favorable conditions. I assumed that those who achieved great things were somehow different, perhaps more fortunate, more educated, or more gifted. But as I began to observe the lives of highly successful individuals, I noticed a pattern that could not be ignored. These men and women possessed something far more significant than talent or resources. They possessed an unwavering belief in themselves and in their ability to achieve their goals. What struck me most was that this belief existed long before any tangible results appeared. They believed when there was no evidence. They acted with confidence when others hesitated. They persisted when all signs suggested failure. It became clear to me that belief is not a result of success, it is the cause of it. This realization marked a turning point in my thinking. I began to understand that belief is not merely a passive state of mind, but an active force that shapes reality. It directs your thoughts, influences your actions, and determines the opportunities you recognize and pursue. Most people, however, make a critical mistake. They wait for proof before they allow themselves to believe. They say, "I will believe it when I see it." But the truth, as I have come to know it, is precisely the opposite. You will see it when you believe it. Belief must come first. Faith, which is belief intensified and sustained, operates in the unseen realm. It is the quiet assurance that what you desire is already on its way to you. It is not blind optimism or wishful thinking, it is a disciplined state of mind, reinforced through repetition, emotion, and action. I have witnessed countless individuals transform their lives simply by changing what they believe to be possible. A man who once considered himself unworthy of success begins to see himself as capable and deserving, and gradually his actions align with that new belief. He takes risks he once avoided. He speaks with confidence where he once remained silent. He persists where he once would have quit. And in time, the world responds. It is important to understand that belief does not operate in isolation. It influences every aspect of your being. Your thoughts, your habits, your decisions all are shaped by what you believe to be true. If you believe that success is beyond your reach, you will unconsciously act in ways that confirm that belief. You will hesitate, doubt, and withdraw at the very moments when decisive action is required. On the other hand, if you believe that success is inevitable, you will act with a sense of certainty and purpose. You will recognize opportunities where others see obstacles. You will persist in the face of difficulty because you are convinced that your efforts will eventually be rewarded. This is the hidden power of belief. It creates a self-fulfilling cycle. Your beliefs shape your actions produce results, and those results reinforce your beliefs. If your initial belief is one of limitation, the cycle will keep you trapped. But if your belief is one of possibility and achievement, the cycle will elevate you. The question then becomes, where do these beliefs originate? Many of them are formed early in life, influenced by family, environment, education, and society. You may have been told that success is difficult, that money is scarce, or that your dreams are unrealistic. Over time, these ideas become embedded in your subconscious mind, shaping your perception of what is possible. But here is the empowering truth. Your beliefs are not fixed. They can be changed. You are not bound by the limitations imposed upon you by others. You have the ability to examine your beliefs, to question them, and to replace those that do not serve you with ones that do. This process requires awareness and intention. You must become conscious of the thoughts that dominate your mind. You must ask yourself whether they support your goals or hinder them. And when you identify limiting beliefs, you must deliberately replace them with empowering ones. This is not an overnight transformation. Belief, like any habit, is strengthened through repetition. You must consistently reinforce your new beliefs through thought, visualization, and action. Over time, they will take root in your subconscious mind, becoming as natural and automatic as the old beliefs once were. I have often said that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. This is not a mere slogan, it is a fundamental law of success. The mind is the starting point of all creation, and belief is the force that gives it direction and power. Consider for a moment the implications of this principle. If your beliefs determine your actions, and your actions determine your results, then your beliefs ultimately determine your life. This means that by changing your beliefs, you can change the course of your life. This is both a profound opportunity and a great responsibility. You must choose your beliefs carefully, for they will shape your destiny. I encourage you to begin now. Examine your current beliefs about success, wealth, and your own capabilities. Ask yourself whether they are serving you. If they are not, make the decision to change them. Adopt the belief that you are capable of achieving your goals. Reinforce it daily. Act as though it were already true. Persist in the face of doubt and difficulty. In time, your belief will grow stronger. It will influence your actions, attract opportunities, and produce results that once seemed impossible. And when those results appear, you will understand a truth that few ever fully grasp. Belief was the cause all along. The awakening of belief is the beginning of all transformation. It is the moment when you realize that the power to shape your life has always been within you. Use it wisely. Having come to understand that belief is the beginning of all achievement, I must now guide you deeper into the mechanism through which belief transforms into tangible results. For it is not enough to know that belief is powerful, you must understand how it works, how it is formed, and how it can be directed with precision. The human mind operates on two distinct levels: the conscious and the subconscious. The conscious mind is the domain of reasoning, choice, and decision. It is where you analyze, judge, and form intentions. The subconscious mind, however, is far more powerful. It is the storehouse of your beliefs, the seat of your emotions, and the silent force that governs your behavior. Whatever the conscious mind repeatedly impresses upon the subconscious mind is accepted as truth. This is the fundamental principle upon which faith operates. The subconscious mind does not argue, question, or discriminate between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts what it is given, provided it is delivered with sufficient repetition and emotional intensity. Once an idea is accepted, it begins to influence your thoughts, your actions, and your perception of reality. This is why two individuals, placed in identical circumstances, can experience vastly different outcomes. One sees opportunity, the other sees obstacles. One acts with confidence, the other hesitates. The difference lies not in the external world, but in the internal programming of the subconscious mind. Faith is the state in which a thought has been so deeply impressed upon the subconscious that it is accepted without question. When you possess faith, you do not merely hope for success, you expect it. This expectation influences every decision you make. It sharpens your awareness, allowing you to recognize opportunities that align with your goals. It strengthens your persistence, enabling you to endure setbacks without losing direction. But how does one develop such faith? The answer lies in a process I have long referred to as autosuggestion, the deliberate feeding of the subconscious mind with chosen thoughts. Autosuggestion is not a mystical concept, it is a practical method. It involves repeating statements of belief, visualizing desired outcomes, and engaging emotionally with your goals until they become internalized. Let us consider a simple example. If you repeatedly tell yourself, "I am not capable," and reinforce this thought with feelings of doubt and fear, your subconscious mind will accept it. Your actions will reflect it. You will avoid challenges, hesitate in decision-making, and ultimately confirm the belief through your results. Now imagine the opposite. You consciously and consistently affirm, "I am capable of achieving my goals." You visualize yourself succeeding. You feel the confidence and certainty associated with that success. Over time, this belief takes root in your subconscious mind. It begins to guide your actions. You take initiative. You persist through difficulty. And gradually, your results begin to reflect your new belief. This is not coincidence, it is cause and effect. Repetition is essential in this process. A single thought, no matter how powerful, is rarely enough to influence the subconscious mind. It must be repeated, reinforced, and experienced emotionally. The more frequently and intensely a thought is impressed upon the subconscious, the more deeply it becomes embedded. Emotion, I must emphasize, is the catalyst that accelerates this process. Thoughts alone are weak unless they are combined with feeling. When you attach emotion, whether it be desire, enthusiasm, or even urgency to a thought, you amplify its impact. The subconscious mind responds more readily to emotionally charged ideas. This is why desire is so critical. A weak desire produces weak results. A burning desire, combined with belief and sustained through faith, becomes an irresistible force. You must not only think about your goals, you must feel them, as though they are already within your reach. Visualization is another powerful tool in this process. By creating a clear mental image of your desired outcome, you give your subconscious mind a target to work toward. The more vivid and detailed the image, the more effective it becomes. See yourself achieving your goal. Hear the sounds, feel the emotions, experience the satisfaction. Make it real in your mind, and your subconscious will begin to accept it as reality. It is also important to understand that the subconscious mind works continuously. It does not rest. It processes information day and night, influencing your thoughts, behaviors, and even your dreams. This is why consistency is vital. You cannot feed your mind with positive, empowering beliefs in the morning and then allow doubt and negativity to dominate the rest of your day. Mixed signals produce mixed results. You must discipline your mind. Guard your thoughts carefully. Be selective about the ideas you allow to take root. Surround yourself with influences that reinforce your desired beliefs, and distance yourself from those that undermine them. Over time, as your new beliefs become established, you will notice a transformation. Your thinking will change. Your confidence will grow. Your actions will become more decisive and purposeful. And most importantly, your results will begin to reflect this internal shift. Faith, then, is not an accident. It is the result of a deliberate and disciplined process. It is built through repetition, strengthened by emotion, and sustained by consistent action. You must treat your mind as a garden. The thoughts you plant will grow. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation, those are the results you will harvest. But if you plant seeds of belief, confidence, and purpose, you will cultivate success. The choice is yours. Understand this well. The subconscious mind is always at work, whether you are aware of it or not. If you do not consciously direct it, it will be shaped by external influences, many of which do not serve your goals. Take control of this process. Feed your mind with thoughts of success. Reinforce them daily. Engage your emotions. Visualize your desired outcomes. Act in alignment with your beliefs. In doing so, you will transform faith from an abstract concept into a practical tool, one that can be used to shape your reality with precision and purpose. This is the mechanics of faith. Having revealed to you the power of belief and the mechanism through which faith operates, I must now direct your attention to a force equally powerful, yet profoundly destructive: the enemy of belief. For every principle of success has its opposing force, and unless you understand this enemy, you will find your efforts constantly undermined, often without realizing why. This enemy is not external. It does not reside in your environment, your circumstances, or other people. Its true origin lies within your own mind. It is doubt. Doubt is the silent destroyer of ambition, the thief of opportunity, and the architect of failure. It enters quietly, often disguised as logic or caution, and once it takes hold, it begins to erode belief from within. I have observed that doubt rarely appears suddenly. It is cultivated gradually through repeated exposure to fear, criticism, failure, and negative influence. It feeds upon uncertainty and grows stronger each time it is entertained. Where belief says, I can, doubt whispers, what if you cannot? Where faith declares, it will happen, doubt insists, it might not. And in this subtle conflict, many lose their power. Fear is the closest ally of doubt. The two are inseparable. Fear provides the emotional fuel that gives doubt its strength. Without fear, doubt would struggle to survive. But when fear is present, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of poverty, fear of criticism, doubt flourishes. I have identified several primary fears that dominate the human mind, and each of them serves as a barrier to belief. The fear of poverty causes hesitation in financial decisions. The fear of criticism prevents individuals from expressing ideas or pursuing bold actions. The fear of failure discourages persistence. The fear of rejection undermines confidence in relationships and opportunities. These fears, when left unchallenged, create a mental environment in which belief cannot thrive. Another powerful source of doubt is the influence of others. From an early age, many are conditioned to think within limits imposed by society, family, or peers. You may have been told that your ambitions are unrealistic, that success is reserved for a select few, or that failure is inevitable. Such suggestions, repeated often enough, become accepted as truth. The tragedy is that many individuals carry these inherited beliefs into adulthood. Never questioning their validity, they adopt limitations that were never their own, and allow those limitations to dictate their lives. I must impress upon you the importance of guarding your mind against such influences. The opinions of others, particularly those who have not achieved what you seek, must not be allowed to shape your belief system. Doubt also finds nourishment in past failures. When an individual experiences setbacks, there is a tendency to interpret them as evidence of incapacity. A failed attempt becomes, in the mind, proof that success is unattainable. But this interpretation is false. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is a part of the process. Every great achievement is preceded by setbacks, mistakes, and temporary defeat. The difference lies in how these experiences are interpreted. The person dominated by doubt sees failure as final. The person guided by belief sees it as instruction. It is here that many abandon their goals. They encounter difficulty, interpret it as confirmation of their fears, and retreat. In doing so, they strengthen the very doubt that holds them back. Indecision is another manifestation of doubt. When belief is strong, decisions are made quickly and with confidence. When doubt is present, the mind hesitates, wavers, and postpones action. This hesitation is costly. Opportunities often appear briefly and require decisive action. Those who hesitate miss them, and each missed opportunity reinforces the belief that success is elusive, further strengthening doubt. Procrastination, too, is rooted in doubt. When an individual is uncertain of their ability to succeed, they delay action. They convince themselves that they are waiting for the right time, but in truth, they are avoiding the discomfort of confronting their fears. The result is stagnation. Life does not reward hesitation. It responds to action. It is important to understand that doubt cannot be eliminated entirely. It is a natural part of the human experience, but it can be controlled, reduced, and ultimately subordinated to belief. The first step is awareness. You must learn to recognize doubt when it appears. Pay attention to your thoughts. Notice when you begin to question your ability, when you imagine failure, or when you hesitate unnecessarily. Once identified, doubt must be challenged. Ask yourself, is this thought based on fact, or is it driven by fear? More often than not, you will find that doubt lacks a rational foundation. It is an emotional response, not a logical conclusion. Replace it deliberately. Where doubt says, I cannot, assert, I will find a way. Where fear says, this is too risky, remind yourself that growth requires risk. Where hesitation arises, take action however small. Action is the antidote to doubt. Each time you act despite uncertainty, you weaken doubt's influence. Each time you persist through difficulty, you strengthen belief. Over time, This shift becomes profound. What once seemed intimidating becomes manageable. What once felt impossible begins to appear achievable. It is also essential to control your environment. Surround yourself with individuals who encourage growth, who believe in possibility, and who support your ambitions. Distance yourself from those who dwell in negativity, criticism, and limitation. The mind is highly susceptible to influence. Choose your influences wisely. Finally, I must emphasize the importance of persistence. Doubt thrives on inconsistency. When you abandon your efforts at the first sign of difficulty, you confirm its authority. But when you persist, when you continue despite setbacks, you prove to yourself that doubt is not the master of your destiny. Persistence transforms belief from a fragile idea into an unshakable force. In conclusion, the enemy of belief is not to be feared, but understood. Doubt, fear, negative influence, and past failure, these are the forces that oppose your progress. They will test your resolve, challenge your confidence, and attempt to divert you from your path. But they can be overcome by cultivating awareness, challenging negative thoughts, taking decisive action, and persisting in the face of adversity. You can diminish the power of doubt and strengthen the force of belief. Remember this: belief and doubt cannot occupy the mind in equal measure. One must dominate. Choose belief, for in that choice lies the difference between a life constrained by limitation and a life defined by achievement. Having revealed to you the nature of belief, the mechanics of faith, and the silent enemy that seeks to destroy it, I now arrive at a principle that many overlook, yet it is among the most decisive of all. Belief is not strengthened by thought alone, it is solidified through action. There exists a dangerous misconception among many who study success. They believe that if they think positively, repeat affirmations, and visualize their goals, success will inevitably follow. While these practices are essential, they are incomplete without one critical element: action. Belief without action is fragile. It may feel powerful in moments of inspiration, but when confronted with reality, challenge, uncertainty, resistance, it begins to weaken. It is only through action that belief becomes grounded, tested, and ultimately strengthened. I have observed that the most successful individuals do not wait until they feel completely confident before they act. On the contrary, they act in spite of uncertainty. They move forward before they are ready, and in doing so, they build the very confidence they once lacked. Action creates evidence. Each step you take toward your goal, no matter how small, provides proof to your mind that progress is possible. This evidence reinforces belief. It transforms abstract ideas into tangible experience. And as this process repeats, belief grows stronger and more stable. Consider the individual who desires financial success but takes no action. He reads, plans, and dreams, but hesitates when it is time to move. His belief remains theoretical. It has no foundation in experience, and therefore it is easily shaken. Now consider another individual who takes action, who starts a venture, makes decisions, faces rejection, and persists. Even if he encounters setbacks, he gains something invaluable: experience. And from that experience comes confidence, not blind confidence, but informed confidence. This is the kind of belief that cannot be easily destroyed. Action also has the power to dissolve fear. Fear thrives in inaction. The longer you delay, the more your mind magnifies potential risks and negative outcomes. But the moment you act, fear begins to diminish. Reality replaces imagination. The unknown becomes known. You begin to realize that most fears are exaggerated, and that you are far more capable than you once believed. It is important to understand that action does not require perfection. Many hesitate because they believe they must have a perfect plan before they begin. This is a grave error. Perfection is not a prerequisite for success. Progress is. You must be willing to act with incomplete information, to make decisions without certainty, and to adjust as you go. The path to success is not a straight line, it is a process of trial, error, learning, and adaptation. Each action you take refines your understanding. Each mistake provides feedback. Each success, no matter how small, reinforces belief. In this way, action and belief form a powerful cycle. Belief inspires action, action produces results, and results strengthen belief. This cycle, once established, becomes self-sustaining. However, there is a critical element that must accompany action: persistence. Many begin with enthusiasm, but abandon their efforts at the first sign of difficulty. When results do not appear immediately, they lose faith and retreat. In doing so, they interrupt the cycle and allow doubt to regain control. You must understand that success rarely comes quickly. It requires sustained effort over time. There will be setbacks, obstacles, and moments of discouragement. These are not signs that you should stop, they are tests of your belief. Persistence is the bridge between belief and achievement. It is easy to believe when everything is going well. The true test comes when circumstances challenge you, when progress slows, and when results are uncertain. It is in these moments that belief must be maintained through deliberate effort. Remind yourself of your goal. Reaffirm your commitment. Continue to act, even when motivation fades. It is also essential to align your actions with your beliefs. If you claim to believe in success, but consistently act in ways that contradict that belief, avoiding responsibility, delaying decisions, or settling for less, you create internal conflict. This conflict weakens belief. Your actions must reflect your intentions. If you believe you are capable, you must act accordingly. If you believe your goal is achievable, you must take steps that move you toward it. Consistency is key. Small, consistent actions, repeated over time, produce far greater results than occasional bursts of effort. They build discipline, reinforce belief, and create momentum. Momentum, once established, becomes a powerful force. It carries you forward, making each subsequent action easier than the last. What once required effort becomes habit. What once felt difficult becomes natural. This is the transformation that occurs when belief and action are aligned. I must also emphasize the importance of responsibility. You must take full ownership of your actions and their outcomes. Do not blame circumstances, other people, or external conditions for your lack of progress. Such thinking weakens belief. When you accept responsibility, you reclaim power. You recognize that your results are a product of your actions, and therefore, you have the ability to change them. This realization is empowering. It shifts your focus from what you cannot control to what you can. It encourages proactive behavior rather than passive waiting. And it reinforces the understanding that you are the architect of your own success. In conclusion, belief is not a static state, it is a dynamic force that must be reinforced through action. Thought alone is insufficient. Faith must be expressed through movement, through decision, through persistence. Take action, even when you feel uncertain. Learn from your experiences. Persist in the face of difficulty. Align your behavior with your beliefs. In doing so, you will transform belief from a fragile idea into a powerful, unshakable force, one that not only shapes your thinking, but determines your results. Remember this always. The world responds not to what you wish, but to what you do. Act accordingly. As you continue along this journey from understanding belief, to mastering faith, to acting with persistence, you will encounter a transformation far deeper than success itself. It is the transformation of identity. Most individuals attempt to change their results without ever changing their self-concept. They seek wealth while believing they are poor. They pursue success while secretly identifying as unworthy. They desire confidence while seeing themselves as inadequate. This contradiction is the root of their struggle. You cannot consistently act in a way that contradicts your identity. No matter how strong your intentions may be, your subconscious mind will always guide you back to what you believe yourself to be. This is why belief must go beyond goals, it must reach the level of identity. You must not only believe that success is possible, you must believe that you are the kind of person who creates success. This distinction is subtle, yet profound. When you say, "I want to be successful," you are placing success outside of yourself. It becomes something distant, something to be achieved in the future. But when you say, I am a successful person. You bring that identity into the present. Your thoughts, decisions, and actions begin to align with that declaration. Identity shapes behavior. A man who identifies as disciplined does not struggle to act with discipline, it is natural to him. A person who sees themselves as confident does not constantly battle fear. They expect themselves to act boldly. In the same way, if you identify as someone who is capable, resourceful, and persistent, your actions will reflect those qualities. This is the true power of belief. It redefines who you are. But I must caution you. The transformation of identity is not achieved through words alone. It requires consistent reinforcement through thought, emotion, and action. You must begin by examining your current identity. Ask yourself, how do I see myself? Do you view yourself as capable or limited, successful or struggling, confident or uncertain? Be honest. Many carry identities shaped by past experiences, failures, criticisms, or societal expectations. These experiences, repeated over time, form a self-image that feels fixed and unchangeable. But it is not fixed. Identity, like belief, can be reprogrammed. The first step is to consciously choose a new identity, one that aligns with the life you wish to create. Define it clearly. What kind of person achieves your goals? How do they think? How do they act? What standards do they uphold? Once defined, you must begin to embody it. This is where many hesitate. They feel as though they are pretending, as though they are not yet worthy of that identity. But understand this. All transformation begins as a form of conscious adoption. You must act as the person you intend to become before the world recognizes you as such. This is not deception, it is creation. Each time you act in alignment with your new identity, you reinforce it. Each decision, each habit, each response becomes evidence that supports your evolving self-concept. Over time, what once felt unnatural becomes familiar. What once required effort becomes instinctive. This is how identity is transformed. Emotion plays a vital role in this process. You must not only think differently, you must feel differently. Experience the confidence, the certainty, the sense of purpose associated with your new identity. Allow yourself to feel as though you have already become that person. The subconscious mind responds to feeling. When thought and emotion are aligned, the process of transformation accelerates. It is also important to eliminate contradictions. If you declare a new identity, but continue to engage in behaviors that conflict with it, you create internal resistance. For example, if you claim to be disciplined, but consistently avoid responsibility, your actions will undermine your belief. Consistency is essential. Your daily habits must reflect your chosen identity. Even small actions, waking early, keeping commitments, speaking with confidence, serve as powerful reinforcements. Over time, these actions accumulate, reshaping your self-image. I have observed that once identity shifts, results follow naturally. The individual no longer struggles to achieve success, it becomes an extension of who they are. Opportunities are approached with confidence. Challenges are met with resilience. Decisions are made with clarity. The external world begins to mirror the internal transformation. This is the true meaning of personal power. It is not found in external circumstances, but in the ability to define and embody one's identity. You must also understand that this transformation is ongoing. Identity is not something you establish once and leave unchanged. As you grow, your identity must evolve to match your expanding vision. Each new goal requires a new version of yourself. Do not resist this evolution. Embrace it. Allow yourself to grow beyond your previous limitations. Redefine yourself as often as necessary. Each transformation brings you closer to your full potential. In conclusion, belief is not complete until it reshapes identity. To truly harness the power of belief, you must become the person capable of producing the results you desire. Choose your identity consciously. Reinforce it through thought, emotion, and action. Eliminate contradictions. Act consistently. And in time, you will discover that success is no longer something you chase, it is something you express. For you have become it. As I bring this journey to its culmination, I wish to speak of the ultimate purpose of belief and faith not merely as tools for personal achievement, but as forces that shape the entirety of one's life and legacy. For while wealth, success, and influence are valuable, the truest measure of faith lies in the transformation of the individual, and the impact that transformation leaves upon the world. Throughout my years of research, I have observed countless individuals who achieved material success yet remained empty, unfulfilled, or disconnected from purpose, and I have observed those who, through the disciplined application of belief, not only achieved personal success, but also uplifted others, creating ripples of influence that extended far beyond themselves. This, I have come to understand, is the legacy of belief. Faith, when truly internalized, extends its influence into every facet of life. It strengthens character, shapes relationships, and fosters resilience in the face of adversity. It compels one to act with integrity, to persevere when the world seems indifferent, and to pursue a vision that transcends immediate gratification. But this influence is not accidental. It is cultivated. It is the product of consistent thought, deliberate action, and unwavering commitment to one's chosen beliefs. I have spoken extensively about the mechanics of faith, the subconscious mind, autosuggestion, visualization, and the interplay of action and belief. But now I wish to emphasize the broader significance of these principles. Faith is a tool for self-mastery, and self-mastery is the foundation upon which a meaningful life is built. A man or woman who has mastered belief understands that circumstances do not define destiny. They recognize that external obstacles are temporary, whereas internal limitations, doubt, fear, indecision are the true barriers to achievement. By conquering these internal barriers, one gains a degree of freedom and control that few ever experience. This mastery, however, requires more than mere knowledge. It requires application. One must practice belief with consistency, test it through action, and refine it through experience. One must embrace challenges as opportunities, setbacks as lessons, and uncertainty as a proving ground for faith. The result of this disciplined practice is a profound transformation. Thoughts align with actions. Actions align with purpose. Purpose aligns with destiny. And when this alignment occurs, the individual becomes a beacon of influence. Their confidence, determination, and clarity inspire others. Their successes demonstrate the power of belief in a tangible form, and their example creates a path that others may follow. This is the ultimate value of faith. It empowers not only the individual, but also those around them. I have often reflected on the idea that the measure of a person is not what they accumulate for themselves, but what they leave behind. Belief, when wielded with intention, creates a legacy that transcends wealth and fame. It is the legacy of courage, persistence, and vision. Furthermore, faith is contagious. When you act with conviction, when you pursue goals with unwavering commitment, you influence the beliefs of those who witness your journey. You demonstrate that success is possible. You show that limitations are not insurmountable, and in doing so, you expand the realm of possibility for everyone around you. It is essential, therefore, to wield belief responsibly, to act with integrity, to serve a higher purpose, and to inspire others through example. For faith is not merely a personal tool, it is a force that shapes communities, societies, and generations. As I reflect on the lives I have studied, the men and women who achieved greatness did so not simply because they wanted wealth or recognition, but because they believed in the possibility of transformation. They believed in themselves, and through that belief, they effected change in the world. And this, I submit to you, is the highest expression of faith. In closing, I urge you to consider the following. Guard your beliefs carefully. Choose them deliberately, for they will determine your life. Strengthen belief through thought, emotion, and action. Do not allow doubt to dominate your mind. Align your actions with your chosen identity. Act consistently, persist through setbacks, and reinforce your faith through experience. Recognize the broader purpose of belief. It is not merely for personal gain, but for the transformation of your character and the inspiration of others. Leave a legacy. Let your belief, your persistence, and your success serve as a beacon that guides and empowers those who follow. When you understand and apply these principles, you will find that faith is not only a key to personal success, but a source of lasting influence and purpose. It is the foundation upon which all meaningful achievement is built, and the force that shapes the life you were meant to live. Remember this always. Belief is not merely a thought, nor is faith merely hope. They are the instruments of creation, the unseen forces that transform intention into reality, vision into accomplishment, and potential into greatness. Use them wisely, nurture them daily, and act upon them without hesitation. In doing so, you will discover that the power to shape your life and the world around you has always resided within you. This is the legacy of faith. This is the hidden power of belief. And this is the path to extraordinary achievement.